Watch me take a graphic from this to this. Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Make It Your Own Design Academy. Before we get into it, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and also like the video, comment down below, and share it with a friend. All right. So in this particular episode, I'm going to show you how I changed a business growth webinar flyer into one for a kingdom chat about children and how chores help them build character. Now, this event has already passed, and it was an amazing conversation that I was able to kind of watch and support my friend. And so, back to the design. Here I am kind of changing or swapping out the information. As you can see, compared to the original flyer, there were 3 speakers. But because these Kingdom Children conversations or chats will feature 2 people, in most cases, I took out that 3rd person and then kind of centered the 2 individuals to create spots for my host and then whatever guests they may have. So you see me playing around with the shuffle feature in the brand section of Canva. And what that does is it takes your brand colors or your color palette, and then it swaps it out using the elements that are already on the page to give you some options to work with. And some options may work really well. Other options may not work so well. So I played around with it to see what I liked. And I started with that orange color. Now, you'll see later on that I kind of swap it out a little bit and make it just maybe a tad bit brighter, but I just wanted to add some texture. So you see me playing around with these text bubbles because in the Kingdom Children logo that I created for her, I have some text bubbles there for the O, which you can't see right now because it's the same color as the background. But it's there. You'll see it. I'll change it in a little bit. But I played around and searched textures in the elements section of Canva. And I used that to just bring a little bit of life into the background. I really love a flyer that has textures because you don't just see just a straight color behind everything. You see some type of movement. And I personally feel like that's a great way to bring things together without doing too much. And so I found that texture. Honestly, I'm not really sure what it is, but I use the dual tone feature to change the colors of it so that it fits my client's color palette and is muted, but not too muted back there. So as you can see in the background, you can see the different shades there. You see a little bit of darkness and you see a little bit of light, like some whites in there. And it's all because it just gives a range to the design, and it elevates it in a way that's very simple, very clean, and it's not doing too much. So I'm going ahead and I'm adding in the title of the chat, which is Kingdom Children Need Chores, and I'm playing around with whether I want it to be 1 color or 2 colors, and I ended up going with 2 different colors there. So you have the darker shade, which makes the text bubble pop, as you can now see it for the O in Kingdom. And then you see Need Chores in the white color. So you see that contrast there. And I really wanted to do that because Kingdom Children is like the name of the segment or the show or whatever she ends up turning it into. Like that's the name of it. And so I wanted it to stand out compared to the topic being discussed, which was chores. And so here I'm playing around with the gradient feature there. If you don't know, you can either have a solid color or a gradient in Canva now, which is an amazing feature. So you'll see that pop up when you select your colors, whether it's a new color or whatever it may be. You'll see a solid color tab and then a gradient tab as well. So as you see, I am going ahead to continue changing the colors here. I changed it from the green color to the brown because I felt like you could kind of see things a bit more clearly. And then I kind of went on from there. So you'll see me trying to work on the font and changing that to fit what I've typically used for my clients. So going ahead and changing all of that. And Canva has a great feature that when you change one style of text, you have the option to change them all. And so that ends up saving you a whole lot of time. And that's just amazing. So here you're going to see me start to pull in the photo of the host. I like to work with, the actual photos and elements that I'm going to be using. So you'll see me bring her in. There is our beautiful host, Taisha. If you don't follow her already and you have Kingdom children that you're raising, or you're a Kingdom childcare provider, you definitely want to follow her at Miss_Taisha on Instagram. And she also has a YouTube channel under her name, Taisha Wright, as well. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you go ahead and give her a follow or subscribe wherever whatever your preference may be. So here I am trying to kind of keep the same format of the flyer. So I was trying to find some icons that I felt kind of fit. But you'll see that I just wasn't really pleased, at least with the icons for this specific project. I'm not saying that I'm not pleased with the icons in general. They're great icons, but sometimes you have a certain look that you want to go for, and you may not necessarily find it because I can actually create an icon myself. I could have done that, but I was doing this really quickly for my friends, so I didn't really feel the need to go and jump into Illustrator and start doing all of that stuff. So you'll see that I don't end up finding an icon that I like, and so I end up getting rid of them completely, which is totally fine. Again, a template is just your starting point. It's not the end all be all of your design. So the purpose of this academy is to show you all the different possibilities. It's literally in your hands to pick and choose what you want to do, what you don't want to do, which elements you want to take from one template and put onto a different template, so on and so forth. At the end of the day, we're doing our best to showcase whatever it is that we have to showcase, and doing it in a way that's visually appealing in order to better attract our audience. So you see that I took away the icon and I'm stretching things out. I'm going to center that using Canva's position tool potentially, just to make sure that it's definitely in the center. And then we're going to kind of go on from there. So here you see me making the labels for their name and positions bigger. because it was a bit too small for our guest. Her name is kind of long, which is totally fine, but I wanted it to be seen more clearly. And on Instagram, another rule of thumb is that if your text is at least 21 points or pixels, it can be seen clearly on Instagram without someone, well, I should say for most people, it can be seen clearly on Instagram without them having to zoom in. So I was trying to make sure that I also kind of follow that rule of thumb. And so making the labels bigger also allowed the information to be more easily received and read. So here you'll see that I am taking the text boxes, which are actually the same text boxes, in the Kingdom Children logo. And I'm using it as an addition here to, again, add a bit more texture. Sometimes when you create a flyer, you want to make sure that some of your white space is not always so white. And so you'll see that I faded them out so that they're not so prominent and loud, but you can see them there, just a way to tie in more of that branding there. And then I'm going ahead to add her guest photo there. And so, to be very honest, as I was creating this, I wasn't completely sure if I really liked it all that much. But I stayed the course, and I really ended up loving it in the end. And you may end up feeling that way about your own flyer or your own graphic that you're creating, because sometimes the journey doesn't look so pretty, it's not so fun, but then the end result ends up being, amazing, what you had imagined, or even more sometimes less. Let's be honest about that too. But it is what it is. It's a journey. No one gets a perfect image on the first try all the time, so we just have to kind of lean into our creativity and, be open to the different outcomes that are available that we run into. So I am actually adding in that box. I had added it down below just to make sure that shadow really popped. And then I started playing around with the colors because I didn't want everything to just be orange and cream. And so I went ahead and made the borders around our speakers that green color that you see, or lime color. And again, just to tie in more of her brand colors, I just wanted to go ahead and see where I could bring that in. So now that I'm happy with the current look of the flyer, I decided to create some variations. Again, I do this because, I think options are great. It allows you to see what works and what doesn't work, so on and so forth. And so in making that duplicate page, I do have to change up the background, again, using duotone, just to make sure that it blends in nicely with that green shade versus the orange shade that we originally started with. And so you see me playing around with that there and changing up the colors, switching them up so that so that it works better for the new background color. So you'll see me create this variation, and then I believe I'm going to do another variation for the brown color that she also utilizes, a chocolate, just to see, which one looks best for what she's trying to accomplish, and also give her those options there. And so you can do the same as you're creating your graphics and your designs. Just create different variations of the exact same design, just utilizing different colors in different areas, just to see what works best, which colors are blending more, which ones maybe not so much, and then go on from there. I also wanted to mention, if you're interested in homesteading, I believe Christian living, and you'll probably have to search her for all the details, but also feel free to follow Ruth Ann Zimmerman on Instagram. I believe she's Ruth Ann Zim, and I believe she also has a YouTube channel as well. So you can check her out, and if she's doing something that interests you, then you should definitely give her a follow and or subscribe. So I didn't end up showing the process of me making the brown flyer, but I'm showing you that I did actually create a third option, which was the brown, and then I had the orange and then the lime background versions as well. So those are the 3 variations I made out of that first flyer that we saw, and I'm going to show it to you all again with this before and then the after. Have you tapped into your pharmacy benefits? As a beneficiary, you unlock special offers, gifts, and always stay in the loop. Subscribe today to receive your exclusive dose. Visit pharmacybenefits.com.